You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Sanbonani, Dumelang, good morning, Goeiemorgen. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show. It's wonderful to have you with us here on 702. I hope you are good this morning. The 702 open line starts now on 011-883-0702. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702. On YouTube, if you're watching and listening to us at the same time on the 702 YouTube page, you can post your comments there. I'll get to them as well. How crazy is the story that EWN was running at the top of the hour? Parliament's Police Portfolio Committee Chairperson Ian Cameron and two other members of Parliament fell victim to crime yesterday while on an oversight visit in Philippi in Cape Town. What we understand is that Cameron and his colleagues were in one car when three unknown men attacked their vehicle with bricks, smashing at least three windows. They were reportedly returning from an oversight visit to the police training college in Philippi when they came under attack in that vehicle. Two people have since been arrested for that attack. But I really think that this is crazy. And if anything, for me, this matter raises concerns about the safety of people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And I want to hear from you if you are one of those people who are in an industry like this where you've got to be on the ground. Do you ever get concerned about your safety if your work requires you to undertake site visits, sometimes in these dangerous areas? I mean, these are members of Parliament we're talking about. And that's not to say they're immune to crime. I mean, there are people who face what they faced yesterday on a daily basis, different people. That's really the nature of the country we live in and the crime that we are facing every day. But there are many people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And sometimes those site visits have to happen in dangerous areas. And I don't know, maybe you are a social worker and you have to go into some of these dangerous areas. Maybe as a member of Parliament, you have to do these site visits. You do constituency work or you do oversight work. There are police officers who have to go into the most dangerous of areas. Are you a police officer? Are there certain areas that you are concerned about in as far as your safety is concerned as a police officer? How many times have we spoken about emergency services, like ambulances that get people who get mugged, paramedics who get mugged when they are in the ambulances and they are going to some townships around Gauteng? That has reached crisis levels. Sometimes they need security to escort them because otherwise they can't even get to people that are in need of emergency care. Because our society is so quick to find an opportunity to commit crime. City Power has also complained. We've spoken to City Power many times about how their workers are at risk when there's some substation that has exploded or something that needs to be fixed around the electricity system. When they go into those areas, they get mugged. They're not safe. So I can go on and on and on talking about work that requires people to be on site. And I wonder how you've been navigating that. Please share your experiences with us on 011-883-0702. Construction workers as well. You have to work in dangerous areas. Now we even know about the phenomena of the construction mafia. So there are so many sectors that are affected here. City Power. Do you work at City Power? Are you a paramedic? Are you an emergency services officer? Are you a police officer? Are you an MP? What work are you doing that requires you to be on the ground? Requires you to undertake site visits and sometimes in these dangerous areas? What's been your experience and how have you tried to protect yourself? Do you go with security? 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. The WhatsApp line is 072-702-1702.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good morning, Clement, on a beautiful Wednesday. Yeah, Clement, I think when it happens to them, maybe they would open their eyes. I don't know. Maybe it will open their minds to say, we need to work hard to keep the country safe. I mean, how many times have we had videos of Bolt drivers, Uber drivers, driving around in Philippi at gunpoints, cars taken, and me speaking on the side of e-hailing guys, we drive in very dangerous places, whereby we just have to have groups where we send messages so that we can communicate area this and that. Please be careful. Don't go there. Just check where you are, the areas that you are in. We just have to be careful. Sometimes this group helps us, and if you are new, you become a victim. So, AB in Midrand.
Good morning, Clement. I would like to be anonymous. I work with Johannesburg Water, and sometimes when we are tasked with doing water cut-offs for people who are not paying, we face a lot of security issues there. So we actually have to go accompanied by the JMPD or some security services. Otherwise, our lives are in danger. So, yeah, thank you. Great show.
Yeah, that's quite hectic, eh? Joburg Water, I had not even mentioned that. E-hailing drivers, I had not even mentioned that. But that just tells you of how widespread this concern is. So how do you navigate that then? So the e-hailing chap says they create groups. For you, if you work for Joburg Water, if you are a construction worker, well, maybe as a construction worker, the company that hired you probably organizes security for you. But if you are a member of parliament doing oversight work, if you are a city power technician, if you are a paramedic, that can really, really be difficult work. If you're a police, police, that's where people are looking to you for protection. People look to you for protection. And there's not a lot of thought at who's protecting the police. And we live in a society where crime is so rampant that even the officers themselves, the people that we are supposed to fear, are actually the ones that are under attack. On the WhatsApp line, Miss Nia says, "Hi Clement, I am a technician in electricity delivery. It is so dangerous. Hijacking and laptop thefts are prevalent, especially in areas like Winterveld in Tshwane. Yeah, that's so crazy. Also, I've just thought now, even Uber Eats, there have been cases where it's very dangerous to order Uber Eats delivery. There are cases where Uber Eats will not come and deliver because it's just dangerous in that area. They get mugged. In fact, recently I saw there were two delivery guys who were on one scooter to do a delivery because they probably realizing that this is the best way to do this. At least there's two of us, we can protect each other in some way, as opposed to be you are the only one and it's 9 p.m. in the evening. Yeah, our society, it's not safe at all. Pule, you're calling us from Pretoria. Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, man. Go ahead.
I'm okay. Look, normally when I do site inspections, I communicate with our Metro Police Department because previously I've done some site inspection and When I came back, I found my car was shot at. I don't know if it was element of criminality or the frustration from the community that was so traumatic. But based on that, I think a couple of times we had a problem with the community. So going forward, we decided we go as a group, as employees or officials, but we always be accompanied by Metro Police. But at the same time, I always check as well before I go if there's any riots or so. So listening to 702 is the best way to know what is happening around areas where I'm going to go to if there's talk about that. Yeah.
Sure. And what happens if the Metro officers are not available to come with you? Or is that a standard agreement that they have with the organization you work for?
No, it's not. Currently, with the Metropolitan Municipality that I work for, I think it's an agreement that we entered into when we go to those difficult or dangerous places. But previously, we'll just go as officials, and especially if you know that this is not a dangerous place. Mm-hmm. But after that incident, that's when we realized that we need to do that at times. Because even, remember, it was around 2012, during that Marikana incident, and I was in Roodepoort. So even my insurance didn't want to cover my car. I had to fight with them for almost 3-4 months and get reports from the nearest police station to say there was no riots there and the like, because they wanted to link that to Marikana because we're doing mine inspection. Mine dump inspection, yeah. Wow. But yeah, what can you do? So Metro Police is the best way to go with them. But at some time, remember with these Zamazamas, they also fight with the Metro Police. So there are certain areas you really can't go at all. The very same area we went to the Deputy Minister of MRE back then. And it was quiet. He was interacting with those Zamazamas and the community at large. Maybe it's because they knew that he was coming and they were receptive to him. But with us as officials, they were kind of saying that we are not taking their whole complaint serious, and they took their frustration on us.
Sure. I can only imagine how traumatic that is, Bule. Thank you for sharing that with us, and please be safe out there. Mbija, you are in Soweto. You're a Bolt driver. Good morning. Hi, ke gona le kae?
Awa go tsela ngwana mogala. Go tsaka wiya. Ya nna di mama le pase le fetogile go re bana ba mpamara re jana ka meno. Wima. Go re imagine Orola is going to pick up an old lady at home. You want to go and drop him in another mall around Soweto, and then they will tell you just drop on the gate. Or else the old lady is using the walking stick. These guys are cruel. I don't know what went wrong with our own brothers and sisters. Yeah, it's bad, my brother. And then, what are you talking?
Our rappelling.
Ya bona mogala la geno gore e bile mogala ba mokhuko e ka re ka boela morago ra sana le bona ba ba le kolela la bohloko le lerato then re ka tswela pele
no
ya mona a go sana bophelo ngwana mogala be go bima
yeah Mbija in Soweto, thank you so much for that. It's just so frustrating. It's so sad that even the older people are being targeted. And I would imagine, how we were raised to respect the elders. And even if you wanted to do something bad, there would be due and extra consideration when it's an elder person that is being affected. That is not even the case anymore. This show, we once went to Soshanguve. When did we go to Soshanguve? 2 years ago. Was it last year? I think early last year we went to Soshanguve to do this show from there. The whole 3 hours we dedicated the show on talking about the crisis of crime. We spoke to the community. We invited the community to come. They came. We had a conversation with the community. They told us about, Soshanguve, when the morning we were there, they told us someone has just been murdered, like 500 meters away from where we were, at a petrol station. Someone had just been murdered there that morning. And there were stories. Old women were telling me that we close our gates at 6 p.m. We go to bed at 6 p.m. Not because we want to, because we know how vulnerable we are to any attack. We invited the Deputy National Police Commissioner came. There were some authorities that came to join us, some policing experts. But I just feel like sometimes you begin to lose hope because you're wondering, what are these conversations producing? Because the people who are committing crime, are they listening to us? Do they care about empathy? Do they care about caring for one another? Because until we get to the people who commit crime, we're not going to resolve it. And yes, there's a lot that the police can do, but crime is a societal issue. It's not just going to take the police to strengthen the force and strengthen their policing plans and strategies to fight crime. That is a key element to fighting crime, but that's just not it. It requires a multi-sectoral, multi-pronged approach, and that involves us as a society as well, because the people who are committing these crimes, they come from our homes, they come from our communities, they are our neighbors, they are our cousins. I don't know. It's just so frustrating sometimes. What hurts me the most is that the older generation, by the way, in Soshanguve, these gogos were telling me that when they go to work, they take buses sometimes at 5 a.m. in the morning. And you know what they do? They have gotten to a point where they hire young people to accompany them to the bus station. It may be 200 meters from your house. But they pay young people in the community so that they can walk with them to the bus station so that they can take the bus and go to work. What life is that? What life is that where you have to outsource your security? In the township, the bus stop is 200 meters away from your house or 500 meters from your house. You need young people that you can pay in the morning to protect you as you go to work. You have to lock your gates at 6 p.m. in the evening. You've stopped jogging, especially as a woman in this country, because you know that you are vulnerable to rape. You're vulnerable to some mugging, to be attacked if you are seen as a lone runner. That is not sustainable. And Tabi Singh, you're calling us from the Northwest. You're in the health sector. Good morning.
Hi, Clement.
Hey, Tabi Singh, go ahead.
Yes, I work as a health inspector. It's really dangerous because you can imagine as a woman, you work in the rural areas, you go alone. As a health inspector, unlike the people they were talking to you earlier saying they are accompanied by the GNPD all the time when they go to the inspection. As an inspector, every time when you go to do your inspection, you have to go alone. You go alone, whether the area is in the rural, it's in the town, you approach all those areas alone. That's how we do our inspections. And you can imagine you are a woman, you go alone, you want to close the shop. Most of the time, like the problem we encounter is when you want to close a premises. That's where most of the fights come. And imagine you go alone, you don't have like protection at the spot. You encounter all these fights. That's when you can call the police. And I don't think we are allowed to say, I'm going to work. Can I go past by the police station so that they accompany me? You can only call the police when there's a problem. And imagine if like something happens to you before you can call the police. But apparently as health inspectors, Clement, there's nothing you can do. That's how we work. And we work in like my friend, so Pick and Pay and you show compliances, and most people don't want to comply. So it's dangerous. You have to fight people all the time. You don't have that protection, and for them to comply is an issue, and it imposes danger even to you as a health inspector. But work is work.
Yeah, in some of the areas you guys go to as health inspectors, and I'll be saying it's not so easy. There's no police visibility. So yes, police on speed dial, but the police are overstretched themselves. How long is it going to take them to come over to you? To come and assist you? Hey, it's 9:30.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
It's 25 minutes before 10 o'clock. We are talking about the issue of safety or lack thereof, because there are some people that may in fact be lucky enough to live in gated communities, but they still feel unsaved. Some of you are living in the crime hotspots, and crime has become your daily experience. And I wonder how that has changed the way that you live your life. I know, female friends who don't even jog on their own anymore, even during the day. In daylight, they want to jog with someone else. I mean, are you still comfortable to walk your dog? Are you still comfortable to walk to the shopping complex, to the spaza shop? Do you still allow your kids to play in the streets? Because that's what we grew up doing. But that's not safe anymore. Kids are being kept in their homes because it's not even safe anymore to have them play freely with their neighbors' kids. You are lucky if you live in an estate because your kids can play on the streets. But even with that, some parents are more and more cautious. And I wonder if these levels of crime have changed how you live your life. How maybe you do your routines. People even use different routes sometimes to go home, or arrive at home at different times to confuse criminals that may be watching. I told you about those gogos in Soshanguve when we did our outside broadcast there, focusing on the issue of crime, who were telling me that they close their gates at 6 p.m., not because they want to, but because they want to keep themselves safe. How safe do you feel in your community? What lifestyle changes have you made? We're living in difficult times, my friends. Bonang Mohale was saying this morning we're a failed state. I'm not sure if I completely agree that we've reached that level yet, but we may be on our way there. We may be on our way there. You and I may be lucky enough to outsource security. Whether you live in the township, in an informal settlement, in the suburb. And by outsourcing security, I mean, whatever you do to make sure your house is protected or your family is protected, there are people in the township who pay 100 rand a week or for 2 weeks because they want young guys who are unemployed or young guys who don't have much in the morning to do to accompany them to bus stops, because criminals also target the elderly when they are on their way to work in the mornings. That is not normal. In any country, that is abnormal. We're living in very difficult times. And I think we may very well be headed to where Bonang Mohale thinks we've already arrived at, which is a failed state. Nonhlanhla, you're calling us from Everton in Everton West. Good morning.
Morning, Mr. Fitness, Clement Manyathela.
Fitness? Why am I Mr. Fitness? Morning, Nonhlanhla.
How are you?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
I'm good. Clement, it's not safe out there. So, years back, before 2010, I was doing like the research, surveys and all that. So this time I got a job to do a stats in Mpumalanga. And the cars that we were using were hired cars. So we did some parts of the places because we found them, and then others we couldn't find, and then we went to the police station to ask. And also we were looking for a place to sleep. After we left the police station, somebody came to us and like, wrong turn, Shem. You're asking the wrong people because as you are leaving, they are telling the guys to come and hijack you because they're working with them. Especially if they see that you're using you are doing stats and you're using the rented cars. I'm like, whoa. So as we were going around looking then where he directed us, Aisha, we could see which something is not right. We decided to leave and I was like, let's go back to Pretoria. We will extend and come back tomorrow. We can't put our life at risk.
Yeah, it's so crazy, Nonhlanhla. It's really so crazy. By the way, we're talking about this because Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Police, the chairperson, Ian Cameron, and 2 other members of Parliament fell victim to crime yesterday while on an oversight visit in Philippi in Cape Town. They were in one car. There are 3 unknown men who just attacked their vehicle with bricks, smashing at least 3 windows. And they were coming from an oversight visit to the police training college in Philippi when they came under attack. I think 3 people. I saw breaking news that the 3rd person has now been arrested. I think by this morning it was 2. So a 3rd person has now been arrested. And I think this raises concerns about the safety of people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And no, we're not saying that, oh, look at how crime is such a crisis just because these members of parliament were victims of crime. No, that's always been the case. There are people who have faced a similar situation that they faced, but it's probably not been reported. But such is life when you live in South Africa. What for me this concern raises is about the safety of people whose work requires them to undertake site visits. And sometimes they have to do that in dangerous areas. Maybe you're a member of parliament. Maybe you're a police officer. Maybe you're a paramedic, because ambulances get mugged as well. The paramedics get mugged when they go into our townships in ambulances. Sometimes they need reinforcement from the police. Maybe you work for City Power, Joburg Water. You're an e-hailing driver. You're a bus driver, a construction worker. Sometimes you have to get into these dangerous terrains. How do you navigate that? Kustas, you're calling from Midrand. What are your thoughts? Good morning.
Yeah, morning. Hey, Abona Clement, this issue of crime is hectic. It's absolutely brutal. When I heard what happened to Ian Cameron, Ian Cameron has just arrived in Parliament. So people cannot then say that he just didn't do anything. This guy was vocal about crime way before he ended up in Parliament. So he cannot possibly be grouped with the guys who reduced the police budget in 2019, 2020, 2021. Who am I talking about? About National Treasury, Clement, and the presidency. I do not think they take crime seriously. Because, as I'm reminding you now, and other listeners, it was the budget of 2019, 2020, 2021, when the very same National Treasury, under the very same president, reduced the police budget. Do you know what happened afterwards, Clement? The crime sparked. So I'm suggesting to you that when people look at Ian Cameron, mustn't just look at him and say, what are they doing about this guy who has been speaking about him way before he came into Parliament last year? The people that we should actually show our anger towards is that National Treasury, is that presidency, and more on that, the police force right now, Clement, needs truly a cleanup. I don't see it at all, Clement. And so that Ramaphosa is unaware that there's criminal elements within the police force. Nothing is happening. So I'm suggesting to you that the frustrations of Mkonazi today and the other police officers don't start now. They started a long time ago. And South Africans must direct their anger to the right door. And the right door is presidency. The right door is National Treasury. The right door is the truly Parliament. Because there's no reason, Clement, why they're not tightening bail conditions here, GPVC fines here, criminal sentences there, and there. So the entire criminal sector under the government, they've literally just ignored it. I mean, Clement, who gets, you remember the guy, Bellegrans? Bellegrans took about 360 million of Steinhoff. He was only given 10 years in jail. I mean, you tell me what's about crime. Here's a guy blows in 350 million of people's money, and he comes to the state and they give him 10 years.
Yeah,
his name is Benegrat. So I don't think we're serious about crime in this country and corruption.
Who's that CFO from VBS? Is it Philip Trusa?
And that one too.
Abel? Truta. Oh, Philip Truta. Yeah, VBS. I think, spent about 3 years or so.
There you go.
Round about that, and you look at the crimes and you think, but how is this supposed to serve also as a deterrent? It's just crazy. Yeah, Kustas, I hear you. Thank you so much for your call in Midrand. And look, I'm trying and move also the conversation from the blame game of, this member of parliament, this minister. And I do think that we need to have serious conversations about what government is doing, what the police are doing, how is parliament holding them accountable. But I think it would be naive of us to think that this crisis of crime is going to be solved only by these institutions in the state or the institutions in our democracy, these 4 different levels even of government. Police will have their strategy, and we must critique it, we must question it, we must call for it to be strengthened. But what can we do as a society? Because I really feel helpless. And I'm asking us that question as a society because crime is a societal issue. It's not only going to be solved by the SAPS. Drug abuse, criminality, gender-based violence, you name it. These are societal issues that will not only take the police to deal with, but will need a multifaceted approach. I don't know if I have any solution. I'm just as frustrated. I'm just as helpless. These days when you're walking a dog, you're looking left, right. When there's a car that you think has been driving around you, you're already getting concerned. Like, we are a traumatized nation. And I see this when I travel. Most of the time when I'm traveling and somehow I get to be on the streets at 11 p.m. or midnight and I'm so scared, and people are like, in those countries are like, why? They laugh at that because for them, why are you scared to be walking the streets at 11 p.m.? That's not their reality, but that is ours. We are a traumatized nation because of the levels of crime that we have been subjected to. Here's some of the WhatsApps on 072-702-1702.
Morning times. The way crime is so bad and the country is so rotten, in my area, sometimes I see the Albani truck, like bread, delivering to tuck shops and other shops, driving with a security guard behind him, like an escort. And this country is a no-no, yeah? Cooks from Dublin.
Hi, Clement. Talking of security, there are certain police stations that are not even operational 24 hours. So, for instance, the police stations in Eldos closes at a certain point. I think it's like 10 or 9 p.m. because otherwise they also get robbed and they also get shot. So, the crime in this country has reached boiling point.
Clement, you see, in Midlands West, we're struggling with load reduction, low voltage and all that stuff. Often when ESCOM comes, we make it a point that we escort them, even if it's at night, because we have it 2 days, 2 days we don't have it. But we make sure we look after until they finish their job, go away. When they have to come back again, we escort them because there are criminal elements who take advantage of such things. It's our duty also as community to make sure the people are safe because we can't rely on the cops. We've seen we can't rely on the police. We can't rely on the people who are escorted when they go to places like our government officials. They're always escorted. So this proved, Ian Cameron, that they can go there without escort because they're there to do a job. Cecilia.
Your voice.
Your station.
Your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
9 minutes before 10 o'clock. Jeff, you are in Woodmead. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement. Yeah, the challenge I think that faces South Africa in a broader sense is that unless we start to actually address crime at the highest level, in other words, at government, at corporate, because corporate's not innocent. I mean, people think, oh, nice corporate, yes. They are very much a part of it. Until we get to that point, the rest of South Africa says, well, you know what, crime's just part of the process. Our politicians do it, our executives do it, Steinhoff, all of those guys. And until we do that, the average person, and when I say the average person, I use that word in a very easy way because there's no such thing as an average person. But the principle is that, the people say, well, crime pays because look how rich other people get by just, and that's different crime. I mean, we assume that, white-collar crime is better than the other crime. No, it isn't. It actually isn't. It's all just crime.
Absolutely.
I mean, look, we're waiting for Zuma. When is this guy going to be prosecuted? And are we going to see this latest thing with the IDT? Is there going to be something happen there?
Nothing has happened yet.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Ramaphosa to explain the money in his couch.
He's already been cleared by a number of institutions. So the Hawks decided, the NPA even said we're not going to try anyone on this. So nothing is really going to happen with Phala Phala, regardless of what you may believe, even if you believe there's a case to answer. Like, institutions have decided, no, this matter is closed. But you're right, Jeff. I think you're right. This really also starts at the top. If we are not going to see people being prosecuted for crimes that they commit, and we see successful prosecutions, why would an ordinary person even feel scared of the police and the Hawks and the NPA? Why would they be scared to go through the criminal justice system when they can see that the people who are right at the top are able to evade accountability? They're able to escape scot-free. How many times are we shocked by corruption in the higher echelons? Clear. Cases get dropped, or they get bungled in some cases. There's just no accountability whatsoever. And what? We expect people on the ground to be scared to commit crime because, I'm going to end up in jail. Ephraim, you're calling from Alex.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, Clement. How are you?
Sure, man. Go ahead.
Man, I'm so heartbroken when you talk about safety. I'm an e-hailing operator or driver. Clement, we're going through a lot, and it's not easy for us to maneuver this because these apps, e-hailing apps companies, Uber, Bolt, and InDrive, when you talk the tip that maybe from Eldo, maybe I'm crossing from Eldo, and then I'm online. If I don't take tip that is there, they penalize me. They reduce my driving score, and then tomorrow I'm not getting tips. So that's how crucial these people are, and even our government. Because when we talk about this verification, Clement, no one is listening to us. They think, these guys are always complaining, Uber is good. You look outside Uber, but you don't look inside what drivers are going through every day. We are penalized, Clement. If I don't take your tip, they penalize me. They penalize me. If you request a Clement, you don't come. They penalize me for me cancelling that right. That's how crucial these Uber and Bolt are.
And I think it will be probably by tomorrow we may have a conversation around also that, Ephraim, looking at what happened in Soweto, and I'm trying to organize some round table of sorts, and that's going to be one of the issues that we discussed. Hopefully we're able to have that conversation tomorrow. But thanks for raising that with us, Ephraim and Alex.
Clement, good morning. Good show as always. You mentioned e-hailing, Joburg Water. You forgot the firefighters. Yes. There are places where it's a no-go area. For the firefighters, Manyathela, in some places in KwaZulu-Natal and Cape Town, firefighters, you can't go there. You need to be escorted to go there. But I think sometimes what happened to the portfolio committee, it's a wake-up call, Manyathela. It is a wake-up call. 2 detectives were killed. Detectives were taken out. The guy's picture was published everywhere. a reward for 150,000 was offered. Why are we not increasing the reward every day so that this man can be found? Where it's more, Mr. Manyathela? Maybe there is an update from your side, but from my side, I haven't heard of any update. Where is this Moyo criminal we've been looking for? His picture was everywhere. There is no update, Manyathela. That tells you, how far are we, I don't know, man. It's so sad. Benzito and Limpopo.
Yeah. We really are on our own. Please be safe out there. It's 2 minutes before 10.